The Mead diet. I did lose 3 days once. The third annual Canadian Sasquatch Mead Challenge. Participants: Kevin Clements, Grant Baker, S.J. Poor, Gary Fortin, M.M. Poor, Paulie Detmertz, and your host, Steve Mertz.
Howdy, folks. It is S.J. Poor at Little Face Brewing, getting ready to dive into yet another mead. This is one from main brew guy himself, Gary. It is a peach cherry blossom melomel wildflower honey mead made with peach puree and Japanese cherry blossoms imported from Japan. Approximately 8.2% ABV. So there you have it. Cool looking label. He has got this bad boy filled just about to the top, and I appreciate that. So, we're going to dive into this with my trusty brew tubers. There we go. A little bit of a hiss. My brew tubers bottle opener has been fantastic. Let's do a pour. Okay, I don't see any point in doing the whole... Oh, look at the color. Wow. And this is actually creating a bit of a head. That is interesting. This is the first mead of the bunch to actually create that's got a bit of carbonation to it. Check that out. It's actually got a little bit of a head, a little bit of carbonation on the side of the glass. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's carbonation streaming up from the glass, because there's not by any stretch. But it's cool. It's got a little bit of bubbly on it. Color is, that's peach. I mean, that is peach. It's got just a little bit of haze to it, but when I put it to the light, I can read the letters and everything on the other side of the glass. So, well done on the clarity, and color is beautiful. It is it's like when you cut open a peach. This is damn near exactly that color that you would see. Now there is some bubbles coming up off the sides of it. That's kind of cool. So get a look at that. That's pretty neat. Very cool indeed. Let's go in for a nose. That is an interesting nose. I'm not really getting a whole lot of peach, but I am getting the orange blossom. Now, I do know a little bit about this particular mead. I do know that the orange blossoms that were shipped in from Japan were actually coated with salt. So I am very intrigued by this, because I am picking up a slight bit of solidity in the nose, but not really what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a lot more than that. I'm getting the orange blossom. The sweetness of the honey is starting to come through now. And a fair hint, just a fair hint of peach. Very pleasant. Oh, man. And every time I swoosh her up a little bit, I'm getting, I'm working up a head, which is bizarre. I've never had that happen with a mead before. So let's give her a go. What do you say? Cheers to you, Gary. He's my brother. My brother from another mother. Oh, that was corny. There is a lot going on in that. There is a lot going on that. Wow, where do I start? Super light. I mean, this is by far the lightest bodied one of the bunch, in my opinion. And the solidity from the salt. And what happened was when his when the orange blossoms were shipped over, I guess for preservation they shipped them in a salt solution, and that's where the solidity is coming from. But I'm getting a good bit of that. There's a good bit of it. There's not going to lie about that. However, it is allowing the peach flavor and the orange blossom, to come through the honey. Yeah. Yep. It is salty. But it's wow, it's cool. Because that salt kind of separates out the flavors a little bit. Because like as you're drinking it, I'm picking up the honey. I pick up the orange blossom honey, and the peach flavor's there. I mean, it is definitely there. And it being thin-bodied the way that it is, it allows those flavors to just kind of separate as you're going through. And then way in the back end, like, I just took a little sip a minute ago, and the heat is like an afterthought. You know what I mean? You're not getting any of that real super heat, super hot from a big ABV mead, which for me, I always get that heat off of them. This is a later heat, so definitely completely different out of all the other meads. And there's bits and pieces of this that I'm enjoying greatly. So I'm going to sit down, I'm going to review this, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. Okie dokie. Howdy, folks. I am back with my final thoughts on Main Brew Guys Peach Cherry Blossom Melomel. So, really cool thing about this particular beer is, and I don't know if it'll pick it up or not, but or not beer, mead. It is carbonated. Which I'm not sure. When I stir it up, I can get the sparkly, from the CO2 working its way up through, which is interesting. So it does have a slight bit of carbonation to it. Now I'm not sure if he did that on purpose or it just happened. Maybe he kegged it. Then that's the residual CO2 that's left over from the keg. So that was kind of neat. I kept building ahead on it a little bit, and I kept swirling it up and listening to it and all that jazz. So very, very interesting mead and fun mead to review. There's a lot going on in this bad boy. This would probably be fantastic to cook with. Make some shrimp, some seafood, something along that lines I think would be very good. It would add some great flavor profiles to pretty much anything that you'd be cooking. The salt is a bit overwhelming, I'm just being honest. Just a touch overwhelming. It just overpowers the rest of it, but you can pick up what's underneath that. So I would love to see you brew this exactly the same, but leave out those orange blossoms, that you had gotten shipped in. I know that was a big part of it, but the reason why I say that is because I could the way that you did the brewing process on this on the front side allowed the peach flavor to come through. So I would love to see what that does without that saltiness. Because the saltiness actually separated it out, and I was able to pick up that peach flavor. And we had a bunch of peach meads in this particular group, and I know peach is very hard to get that flavor to pop. And I think you probably had this one popping right before you put that those orange blossoms in that were saturated in salt. But hey, that's all part of brewing, baby. Well, my final chug. There we go. There you are. Yep, that's my last mead for this challenge. I might do mine yet, but this is the last one, and all of my scores are going up. This is S.J. Pour from Little Face Brewing. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, folks. Brew mead. Brew wonderful mead. Cheers.